What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. In today's episode, I sit down with Sean Lynch of Barkwood Property Group as we hammer out a strategy for him to take his house flipping business and turn it into a profitable house remodeling company. A lot of great principles taught in here. I think you're really going to get a lot out of this business breakthrough. It starts right now. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Business Breakthrough. I got Sean Lynch here with Barkwood Property Group, a podcast listener. Thanks, man. Just wanted to just jump in, man. I think there's some things that you wanted to chat about in terms of are you getting into remodeling? You're going to give me some background here. What's going on with the business?
So we are in remodeling now. It's my wife and I are business partners. She's also a realtor. We're here in Southwest Connecticut.
Oh, nice.
As is every contractor right now. We're constantly getting calls slammed with work, which is a good thing.
Sure.
Historically, we started out as flippers. So
Okay.
We did our first flip in technically 2014, but then we really ramped up in like 2017, 18. And initially, I was hiring all subs. Then I was able to get out of my 9 to 5. And I started doing, because I've always done carpentry my entire life. My dad had me on a roof as a kid. So I know the trade. I just didn't do it for a living. So then I started seeing some of the work that was being performed and what we were paying for that work, especially on like the carpentry end and like the finishes, the kitchen installs, stuff like that, bathrooms, tile work. And I'm like, why don't I just do this? So that's when I truly became like, I became one of my flip company's own subcontractors, pretty much, which is great. I mean, it allowed us to, really hit home runs with some of our flips because it was just being able to self-perform all that work and being on the site every day. So it, like, our quality of flip compared to some of my competitors in my local market that I'll walk their flips to is like, ours is bar none. So that being said, our last flip we sold about 6 months ago. And we have a house to build that is, technically going to be a flip because there was a house there. It was a fire situation as a foundation.
Okay.
But lumber went insane. So we held off on that. We've had, through our social media, Instagram, Facebook, my wife does a good job with that. We've had so many people just in our local community reach out to us to do remodels for them. We were like, you know what, let's give it a shot. Let's dip into the world of remodeling. It's been challenging. Learning how to quote a customer focused remodel and learning how to work in a customer's house amongst them has been challenging. Also, just
a little bit of a dance, huh?
Yeah, a little bit of a dance. And my wife I jokingly call her a forensic accountant when it comes to like our flips in our business. And one of my biggest struggles right now is like, okay, I know I need to hire people. I know I need to grow, but I also need to. It was easy when we had a flip going because, everything goes through that flip, you assign everything to that flip, and it's very black and white. Yeah, exactly. Whereas, and I was job costing for flips and I knew what I could get something done for. So now I'm job costing multiple jobs, smaller jobs. Like I have a quote sitting here I have to do for, 7 window replacements, 7 windows in a house. I'm currently at a finished basement job right now. I've got a whole house remodel for a customer who's moving up from New York that's at like the 99% finish stage that I'm going to later this afternoon. So it's like we're everywhere and we're busy and it's a good thing. But at the end of the day,
when I look chaos.
At the end of the day, when I look at what I'm doing and what it's doing with our, home life, like we were up till midnight the other night doing.
When you were doing flips, you had one house to look at and everything was done under that umbrella. Now you're essentially doing 6 different houses and it's driving you nuts because you're spread way too thin. And right now the solution is not hiring. That's just going to you're going to take the chaos and you're going to place
Yeah.
that chaos on that person. Whatever you're feeling right now, dude, is what that person's going to feel
Right. Well,
if you don't
so
change something.
yeah, I can see that point for sure. I guess, like my thought with hiring somebody was I can't be quoting a job, organizing material deliveries, and doing everything wearing a tool belt. Like I say to my wife, and it's really been within like the last 6 months. I'm like, when I walk into a deli for lunch, I don't look like a guy that owns a remodeling company. I look like a guy that works for a remodeling company. And I need to, if we really want to, grow and get this thing like, stabilized and managed, I need to change that.
With doing the flips, obviously you thought you were saving money, right? Like that was the thought
Mm.
initially, and that's what a lot of people do. It doesn't matter if you're doing flips. Like a lot of people who own businesses by themselves, they
Yeah.
think, oh well, I can get this done by myself and I'm going to make more of a profit. But what does it do? It takes way longer. You can't grow your business, because one principle that I like to let people know about is the fulfillment principle, right? So what you were really doing was you were fulfilling the promise of a sale, right? So that's not growing your business.
Right.
Growing your business is working with lenders, buying more flips, working with lenders, buying more flips,
Right.
working with lenders, buying more flips. That's a growth, that's a growth
Yeah.
strategy there. Actually, like fixing up the flip is
Right.
not growth, because you already budget what that after flip value is going to be anyway. So it's not like the more work that you do in there, the greater the flip is going to be. Obviously, that could
Right.
happen, but there's always a certain threshold when it comes to selling houses anyway that you're not really going to
Sure.
capitalize on. You know that. So
Yeah.
really what I want to get at here, and I kind of want to pitch it like this, man, is that you have you found something and you're seeing that it works, and you're seeing cash flows coming in from these remodeling services that you're doing. But
Yeah.
you told me 4 different things that you're doing. You're doing a window replacement. You're doing a full remodel for someone else. I think you said, what was the other thing that you got going on right now? A
Finished
basement,
basement.
a finished
And
basement.
yeah.
When you
Yep.
look into the future of all these things that you need to do right now without any help, how does that feel?
It's chaos, man. It's yeah.
Chaos. And then somebody wants you to go do an estimate, right? So then you got to stop what you're doing, go do the
Yep.
estimate. And it's hard. So the first thing that, and I'm sure you've heard this on my podcast, but I mean, we've got to figure out what we're going to specialize in. I mean, you've got to figure that out, because you can't place
Yeah.
this on someone else. You bring someone into this world, they're going to leave pretty quickly, just simply because they're not
Yeah.
going to feel progress. They're not going to feel accomplishment. They're not going to feel the way an employee wants to feel, which is they go to work, they do what they're told to do, and they go home. That is
Right.
the exchange there. Right now, you're able to do it and push past 5 o'clock because everything's riding on you. You can't
Right.
put that on someone else. That's why you got to put them in an umbrella. Like right now, you honestly could come at me and say, you know what, Tanner, I'm still going to do flips, but I want to hire somebody. You would be in a much better position, because guess what? You would put that person in that house. They
Yeah.
go to that house every day and they would do what they need to do in that house for a month long, and then they leave. And that is accomplishment. That is progression. They get to wash their hands at the end of the job. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
If you put someone into your system right now, you're going to put them on the basement for Monday and Tuesday. Then you're going to bring them over to the flip for Wednesday and Thursday. Then what you're going to do is put them on the windows for Friday and ask them if they want to
Yeah.
work Saturday. Okay. And they're going to be dog tired those days,
Yeah.
and you're not going to have a happy employee. So, am I moving in the right direction with this?
Yeah. No, absolutely. For sure.
So first thing we need to do is identify what you're going to specialize in. What is it? What is that thing that you feel as though I'm going to cover the 3 bases here: easy to sell, easy to market, easy to produce. What is that thing that you can do?
I would say easy to sell.
Okay. Well, what is that one service that hits all 3 bases? Easy to sell, easy to market, easy to produce.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Shit. Let's see. I mean, really, so the hard part is like why people have come to us or are coming to us is that the whole house, the GC, like a full vaulted ceiling kitchen, like,
But
they
your
see our fit and
problem is
finish.
that you're not operating in a GC capacity. The
Right.
GC in a normal capacity is subbing out these things.
Right. Right.
So don't get confused by that. And it's
Right.
great that people trust you, but you're shooting yourself in the foot by
Yeah.
doing all the work. That's the
Right.
issue. And what I'm trying to do is help you first learn the process of delegating, contracting, and
Right.
duplicating a result. Then once you grow that base of help, then you start taking on the requests of all these people who want you to come in and do all this work on a large scale. But if you take the principles that you're operating on right now
Yeah.
into that world, it ain't going to work. That's why you got to change the principles first. So then when you get there, you're building off of something that's currently working. You
So
have this team.
so how would you recommend we change that principle to put me on the path to
Easy
GC?
to
Because
market,
that's
easy to sell, easy to produce. Okay. Think about all the remodeling jobs that you can possibly do in a home. Okay.
yeah.
Which one is the most sought after? You know this business. Which one out of all the remodeling projects you can do are the ones that are most sought after?
Kitchens.
Kitchens. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's start
definitely.
with that. So a kitchen job. Now let me go through the 3 check marks here. Okay, so that
Hmm.
means that it's easy to sell. That means that it's highly sought after. That means
Hmm.
that everyone has a kitchen. That means that everyone would want a newer, fresher looking kitchen, maybe moving
Yeah.
something here. My wife mentions changing around the kitchen
Hmm.
3 times a week. Okay,
Yeah.
so we know that's easy to sell. All right, number 2. All right, easy to market. Would you say that kitchen remodeling is an
Oh yeah.
easy thing to market, right? So you
Absolutely.
see a before and after on Facebook, people want to know what that's going to cost. And really what they want is someone who they can trust to keep their promises, which I've no doubt about you being that person 100%. So that's number 2, easy to market, okay? And now easy to produce. Now that's completely up to you. You are going to determine whether or not your company is full of stress or full of peace based on what you say yes to. That's it. That's the TED talk.
Right. Right.
Whether if you tell them that you're going to knock down walls and you're going to go after that, you're going to go into the bathroom and do it in the bathroom, and then they want an addition put on the outside of the house because you're
Yeah.
there and it's easy to say yes to all these requests, then you're going
Yeah.
to be right back to where you are. But if you
Yeah.
say, unfortunately, no, we only operate in the kitchen. Why? You need to be tied to your product. You need to be tied to your systems because you know what it's going to do to your team, right? So if
Yeah.
you go to a potential employee and they say, okay, well, what does this job entail? And you say, well, we're going to do bathroom remodels, we're going to do window replacements, we're going to actually do full house remodels, which means we're going to do electrical, plumbing, we're going to do everything, man. That sounds great. Okay, and they're going to be looking at you like, okay. Or you say, actually, we're a kitchen remodeling company. What we do is we do one of 2 things. One of a few things. We're going to be replacing cabinets, replacing sinks. We're going to be replacing countertops. We're going to be moving walls. We're going to be sometimes do a little bit of texture, but we only
Yeah.
operate in the kitchen. That's a little
Right.
less pressure for somebody that's coming in as an employee. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So you look at that specialty, but inside that specialty, there's a bunch of different things, right?
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
I mean, inside of a kitchen, we have cabinets, we have sinks, we have electric, we have, walls that need to be moved. We have countertops, we have all these things. So that's what I'm saying. Is like inside that specialty, you could even niche down. There's companies that
Yeah.
do it, right? What do they do? Cabinets, and they do granite, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
we're not even niching down to that granular level, but what
Right.
we are doing is we're at least giving us a chance to succeed. And the thing is, when you're in the homeowner environment, there's this thing called rotting, which means if you're around too long, you start to lose that excitement, right? Have you felt that
Yeah.
yet?
It's so true. So true, man. I mean,
It's
look, it happens in the flips too. Like it gets exciting toward you just kind of get like mired in it. You know what I mean? I actually had a really busy painting contractor that lives near me. And he said exactly that. He's like, you know what? He's like, I quote jobs that I can be in and out of in 3 to 5 days. He's like, and the
yeah,
customer's always going to love me. I'm done with the job. We never get
exactly.
stagnant. It's just
You
boom,
know
in
why?
and out.
Because there's this hidden energy momentum that starts off from the initial sale, and they're as excited as they're ever going to be because they can't see what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
that excitement and that hope of what it's going to look like is pulling them through the trudgery of you being there every day and them having to maneuver their schedule and maneuver their system and maneuver their habits and routines. But after a certain amount of time, they stop caring less and less about what this project entails. And all they're thinking about is the money they got to spend and how much longer you're going to be there. And it ruins the experience, right? It's
Yeah.
just like we said early on, it's a dance, dude. It's like this thing that you've got to understand. Now, the reason why a lot of people have trouble picking a specialty is because you didn't really put a marketing system in place. And why is that
Oh,
important? Okay. If there's no marketing confidence on this side, which says, okay, I know for a fact that I'm probably going to get 5 to 10 leads that want kitchen remodeling done. If you don't
right,
know that for a fact, when you're working on a job and you look at your schedule next week and you say, I don't have anything, and that customer says, hey, can you replace these windows? What are you going to say?
yeah,
You don't have a choice. You have to say yes because you have bills to pay and you want to keep the
sure,
ball rolling. So
yeah,
the thing about it is early on, you need to invest in marketing right now, especially knowing that you've already been established. You are not a startup by any means in terms of not having any capital or resources. You need to
right,
come in your town right now as a franchise. When a franchise enters into your town, you know what they do? They spend a
market,
ton of money on marketing and a
yeah,
ton of money on hiring all at one time to give them a
yeah,
boost. And the mistake that you may make if you don't do this is you go all in on the hiring and you didn't go all in on the marketing, and then you're going to end up stressed out because you don't know where the next job's coming from.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one of the, I have had a few people work with me and a few helpers and stuff. And one of the things that it has, made me not hire someone of maybe like a more advanced, like trim carpenter or, skill level is I don't want to pull somebody out of a job they've been at for 6 years and only have 3 months worth of work.
Let me help you with
You know what
that.
I mean?
First of all, you got to have so much freaking belief about what you're trying to accomplish
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter, because you know that no matter what, at the very least, you're not going to take a paycheck to make sure they have one, right? Don't you have
Right.
that sort of standard about
Of
yourself?
course. Yeah.
So it
100%.
doesn't matter. You have how many
Yeah.
consecutive weeks have you been working? Give me a rough number.
I mean, since we,
Has there ever been a week where you didn't have a
no,
job?
oh God, no. Well, my wife
Okay.
just made me
So
remodel
at
my
the
kitchen
and
too.
at the
So
at the very least, if you hit that red zone, you
yeah.
guys probably being prominent in your community could probably tap your local network and say,
Oh,
"Hey, do you
easily.
need
Yeah.
anything done?" Without a shadow of a doubt. So for
Yeah.
me, it's like, you know what? At the very least, that's not even a concern. You can hire someone
Yeah.
tomorrow and know enough about what you've accomplished and what you've done to say, you know what? At the very least, I'll step back and keep that guy busy for a week and give me some time to run my business to make sure he
Yeah.
gets a paycheck. That's the
Yeah.
mentality you have to have. It'll never change, by the way, because guess what? When you hit that second level, when you hire another person, you're going to have that same thought, man, and be like, I don't know if I can keep this guy busy. And then you do the same thing and you
Yeah.
do the same thing. There's never a time where you're going to be like, yep, ready to hire and it's going to be great and all that. It's always that little bit of a fear of, can I keep that guy busy? Can I afford it?
Yeah.
Am I going to make the money?
Yeah. That's a good point.
You
That's
know?
a good way to look at it for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, man? I mean, do you think
I
are you really
def
do you think you can really commit to being a specialist in the kitchen space?
I think I can. The other, I guess the other, and not to, sidetrack, but in addition to like specializing down into a space like that, which I think is a good idea, we also have to figure out something on the back end. You know what I mean? As far as like organizing what we're doing, quoting and stuff like that. We have a
Dripjobs.
software that uh well, so does Dripjobs, does that compete with like Contractor Foreman? Because that's the one we're currently using, and it's okay, but it's not.
No
It's great for my
competition,
wife.
brother.
Uh, all right, but it does. I got you. But my biggest thing is like for me in the field, it's not Contractor Foreman is not very intuitive. It's easy for my wife on a laptop or on a desktop, but when I'm on my phone trying to do this stuff, it's like it's a little cumbersome.
No competition.
Sounds good.
No, seriously. So
Yeah,
Drip Jobs, I mean, it has a lot of great features. I mean, I built it based on, first of all, I've been coaching contractors for years. I know what they want. I know what they need. I'm a contractor.
yeah,
So when I was building this, I was testing it out in my own business of what it would be like to go to do an estimate. What do I need to have on my phone? What do I need them to be able to receive, and how I need the customer to be able to interact? And like, there's nothing like it. I mean,
yeah.
and there won't be anything like it because it's just from me. Like, I don't know, if I have a
Sure.
clone out there, maybe, but that's something I would consider. And we can have a separate conversation about that. And I don't,
Yeah,
I don't want to push that too hard during this call, because I really want to help just get.
right.
That's a given. You can find any CRM. There's certain CRMs that'll organize your contacts, and you can send quotes and estimates. And then there's certain CRMs that do what Dripjobs does, which is like the full circle, sends out sales automations and follow ups and keeps your
Yeah.
customers informed, keeps you organized, because that's a big piece of business is
Yeah.
organization. You have to know where your jobs are. You have to know
Yeah.
what, like, if you don't have that visual representation, that's why one thing that is in Dripjobs is these little cards, and we have stages. Like, for example, there's 4 project stages right now in your business. You have customers that you're waiting to get on the schedule that have accepted a proposal. You have
Hmm.
customers that are on the schedule that are waiting for their jobs to be done. You have jobs that are currently in progress, which I believe you're at right now.
Yep.
And you have jobs that you've finished. And these cards move throughout the pipeline so you can have a visual representation of where the jobs are so you can get it out of your head. And then you can be much less stressed. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can show you a demo sometime. If you want,
All
if
right,
you
cool.
guys want to see it, I'll show you and your wife. But
Yeah, definitely.
the administrative side, I'm not worried about, because I think you guys will figure that out either way, whether you use Dripjobs or not. I think the thing that, honestly, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you, because I really want to help you. And if you can, if I can make you aware of what I'm seeing, then you can adjust it. The
Yeah.
one thing, man, Sean, that I'll be honest with you, man, that I'm most concerned about is you breaking the habit of being on the job.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to really focus on that, man, and understand that you are growing wide. Everything that you're doing, you think that you're progressing. You're on the treadmill right now. You think you're
Oh, for sure.
progressing.
I agree.
But you can get so much more done, and you can create so much more of an impact and have so much less stress, and actually feel like, you can adjust your
Yeah.
collar a little bit, man, when you're walking up to the house, rather than, I got to hurry up out of here because I got to go finish up what I was doing. And it's a
Right.
different sale. You're going to sell more jobs. You're going to have much more authority when you talk to a customer, because you're going to be so much more confident in the process. Now, when it comes to hiring, again, you got to look at the hiring pool, because I know when you think of hiring, like, who the heck am I going to hire? I got to find a unicorn. I got to find someone that knows a multifaceted, right? Is that a concern of yours?
Oh, for sure. Well, that's my biggest thing. I mean, if, like, especially, let's say I were to drill down and specialize in kitchens. I mean, I like the painting contractor I was just talking about, like, customer's not happy with that. You just recut in your trim, right?
Absolutely.
You mess up a cabinet box. And I mean, I represent 3 lines of cabinets right now. And I mean, my high end line is like 16 to 20 weeks back order right now. So it's like, if I have a guy go in there that's not me and mess up a cabinet,
we're in trouble, because then
yeah.
if there's I mean, so, like, you're setting yourself up with the industry that you're, like, with the service that you're choosing for these roadblocks, right? Like,
Yeah.
look, I mean, at some point you've got to really think about what your goal is, right? Is your goal to be free from this? Like, again, for me, I have no friction. I have a painting business. So for me, we
Yeah.
come in, we paint. Here's the thing, that painter guy that you were just talking about,
Yeah.
does he paint his jobs?
Used to. Then he grew
He
out of
used
it.
to? Does he he has a business now with crews and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you see his system and look at it like, I want that system? Like, when you see how he operates and how he moves, if he has crews doing his work for him?
Yeah. No, I mean, he's done a great job scaling. I mean, obviously all of this has its own stresses. I have my own stress because I'm the one responsible for getting this crown done today, and he's got stress because he's responsible for 4 crews running around.
So do you get a lot of, actually, let's start here. Do you get a lot of trim work requests?
No, it comes with the jobs, and it's kind of like one of my specialties.
Okay. So, and that's cool, man, because the beauty of what your situation is that you know how to do everything. So you can be an excellent trainer. You can still be on site, but you got to be building toward getting off site. And
Yeah.
I think that it really starts with, the foundation. Like, whatever you're bringing in somebody to your business, you got to have the foundation right in terms of, what do we do? How do we do it? Outlining
Right.
what that process looks like, right? So, like, if you find somebody and maybe they don't know how to do X, well, then you fill
Right.
in and do X and let them do Y,
Sure.
until you find somebody that can do X. And at least
You teach them
that,
how to do
hey,
X.
right. And you teach them how to do X, or at least you say, I know I need someone that knows how to do X. But right now, before this call, maybe when you thought of hiring, you might have said, okay, I got to find someone just like me. And that is never going to happen, dude. And not only the skill side, I'm sure there's people that can operate like you in a skill capacity, but in terms of the ownership and the care and the level of quality and detail, and something that you mentioned of knowing, hey, if you mess up this cabinet, that person's without a cabinet door for 6 to 8 months. So we have no room for error here, right? Like, that's concerning. So like, that's why I said, put your business in a box. Inside the box, write down all the services you want to do. Draw a little arrow and say, okay, I'm going to hire somebody to help me do this part of the job. So I need to put out an ad that attracts somebody with that skill and then filter them out based on what I know about that skill and make sure they can do that skill. And then marketing needs to be started now. You need to have leads coming in every day. Right.
Yeah.
And you might think, well, I can't handle that demand. Good, because that's going to force you to do this hiring, because if you don't have any leads coming in, you won't have the confidence.
Yeah.
You won't.
That's true. For sure.
You won't. You won't. I mean, did I go in the right, again, I always look to check. Did I go in the right direction? Was this tangible enough to help you kind of get a spark?
I mean, it's a good point. It was surprising. I've never thought in the capacity of, I mean, I'm jealous of my friends who are, you know, roofers or painters, or they have just this one niche area. Whereas I'm, you know, because of the flip team, you know, the flip experience, I'm literally, I'm from the front yard to the chimney cap, you know,
But I think, dude, you have, but here's the thing. Not everyone can do what you're about to do. And that's what makes you special. That's what makes you ask what you want for the job and not have any friction that I have, because I fight for jobs. I spend 90% of my time teaching people how to fight for jobs, you know, and the same thing it is for roofers. I mean, everyone's competing, but when it comes to remodeling, that's almost as valuable as hiring the right builder, brother. You know, I mean, we're talking about $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 projects, and you know this, but you've got to specialize in one bubble. Let someone else take bathrooms. Let someone else take windows. Let someone else take basements. Honestly, bro, if you wrote down kitchen remodeling, I guarantee you can write down 20 different things that can be done in a kitchen. I don't even know, because I don't do it. I bet you do. So from there, you say, okay, out of these 20 things, do we want to specialize even further? If electric comes up, if plumbing comes up, are we going to find subcontractors to go do that for us so we can just stay focused on what we do?
Right. Oh no, I mean, that's where I could really see this working too, because with the flipping, we've got such a you know, cache of solid subs that I've worked, you know, shoulder to shoulder with for the last 4 years.
Good.
So it's like, you know, I've got like my A team subs, my B team subs. So it's like I could see myself not having to do, you know, just having to hire somebody that can do cabinets, just can do crown, just can do trim, maybe some flooring.
I think you should stick with the cabinets, because on a cabinet install day, knowing how tender this is with the supply, I think you should be there on the cabinets. But as you find somebody that's good with trim, let them handle the trim, let them handle the, you know, those other things, and start with one. I think there's no reason, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like, you jumped in this call for a reason. Hopefully you were hoping for a spark. I want to give it to you. There's 0% reason why you shouldn't start hiring and marketing today. There's no reason why not. You have never been without work. And in the event that you are without work, you're going to let that person get their hours. You take on that responsibility. Now we can talk about payroll and administration, and I'd love to talk with you guys about that. But you got to, like, take the risk first and put yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the first step. You know,
that makes sense.
Because I think you can build something great, man. I think you're going to be a multi-million-dollar business owner, and you'll feel much happier because you're going to feel like you have some control, and you can do those job costing right now with you. I mean, I can't even believe you're taking on windows. Everyone knows windows are taking forever. I mean, you know, so crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, you know, so for you, like, you know, you're going to feel a little bit of that control. Like, I love people that tell me they like the job cost. So it's probably driving you absolutely bananas with all these different jobs and the costs, and it's probably driving you crazy. So to narrow this down is going to save your business. And I think, to be honest with you, I think you need to change your business name, to kitchen remodeling.
So we did that just because it worked for the flipping thing, and that was, you know, we did all the marketing and the We Buy Houses and all that kind of fun stuff.
So that's what I'm saying is when we talk about marketing, like, we essentially right now, and I just want to ask you this question, like, do you think today somebody woke up in your radius of 80 miles and said, you know what, I want to get a quote to remodel my kitchen? Do you think somebody did that? I mean, there's so many houses.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Do you think a lot of people did. Somebody there at some point just Googled kitchen remodeler in your city? The problem with your name is that they have absolutely zero clue that you exist.
Oh, and I mean, I completely agree. It's also, like, we haven't done, the only marketing we've ever invested in was flip marketing. So we haven't, like, everything, every minute that I've worked for the last year has been 100% word of mouth. And that's with turning down a lot of
Great.
jobs too, you know? So it's like, I know that we're, you know, having been a marketing business major in college, I know that we're leaving a ton on the table with that, but we just, like, you see it, we have no
No, and
infrastructure
you
to
had no reason.
do
I'm
any of
telling,
it.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying you did anything wrong. I'm just saying you had no
No.
reason to. And I'm saying that's why we need to get the hiring going now so we can
Yeah.
justify the marketing, and we need to do the marketing going now so we can justify the hiring. It has to be done at one shot, one big bang, boom. And then
Yeah.
from there, you know, you're going to hit this. There's this like tipping point after you get a bunch of jobs and you start finding your groove with hiring and you get that right guy. It's, I
Yeah.
don't know, I can't really explain it until you hit it. You'll hit me up and be like, yeah, I get what you were saying. Like
Well,
I had to go heavy early
yeah,
on, and I can
we
coast
hit
now.
that. We hit that with the flips. Everyone said that, like, once you get it rolling, it's like, it took forever to find the first one. And then next thing we knew, we had like 3 rolling at a time for
Momentum, man.
years straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But
So
like
I completely
but
agree.
here's the thing, when you're hiring, um, you know, it's all about coming with, like, in the same way you come with confidence when you're selling a job because you know what needs to be done. Like, I would hire you. I don't even know. I mean, if you came to me and there was another guy, I'd probably hire you just because of how you present yourself in terms of just you. I mean, that's just, it's
Yeah.
psychology. But in terms of the hiring, you got to come across confident, especially for a good hire. You know, you
Yeah.
got to come across confident, like, hey, you are entering into what's going to be your potential career. We are going to grow. This is our
Yeah.
mission. This is what we're trying to do. First, we're going to specialize in kitchen refinishing for the next about 2 years. We're going to refine our processes. I'm looking for a project manager, someone that knows all aspects of kitchen remodeling, that can work side by side with me to learn my standard, to help my clients, and to help me build a brand. The benefit to you is that there's potential for growth, you know, and that's what we're looking
Yeah.
for, you know, and if you set that tone early for the right applicant, you know, you might find yourself somebody that actually replaces you a lot sooner than you think, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, I mean, that's how you got to be in business, man. If you know, and I think you should do no less than 5 interviews in person, you know,
Yeah.
5 interviews before you make a decision, just because of how important this role is.
No, I agree with that for sure.
And there's a process. There's
Yeah.
putting, I think you should put the ad out on Indeed. I have a hiring course. I'd be happy to give it to you. You know, it's
Cool.
5 lessons. It'll walk you through it. But you create a form with some questions. They filter out through there. Then you do a phone interview, ask them a little about their experience, listen to them, make sure they're not like crazy, you know, and then go
Yeah.
from there. And then invite them to Starbucks, sit down, do an in-person interview. Have you taken anyone through a process like that before?
Yeah, so I actually have, I'm curious as to what you think a good spend is on Indeed for attracting good candidates, because I've gotten some decent candidates off Indeed. And, you know, I have what, so I'll do a meeting, you know, we'll do a phone call. If they seem, you know, like they kind of know what they're talking about, then we'll typically just sit down, or I'll have them come to the job site. If that goes well, then I have them come work for a couple of days, almost like,
Yeah.
you
Don't
know,
ever do that again, please. I mean, that's
no.
because what we want to do is we want to set our standard of, like, you want to be corporate when you're not corporate. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Yeah, I got you.
bringing someone to the job off of a phone call is, first of all, super scary. Because again, you don't just, I mean, I guess you're a good gauge of character, of course, but if this was your home and you knew that someone brought someone that they didn't know
Yeah.
to your house for the first day, you'd be like, I know you did that on your flips, but I'm just
Well,
saying,
that,
like,
yeah, exactly.
home,
No,
in
I
the home,
wasn't.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay, I was
wouldn't
about to
roll
say,
somebody into a homeowner's
but
house. No, no,
here's
no.
the thing, and this is another point that I want to make, is that when someone's taken through a process like that of, like, okay, Indeed, form, uh, phone call, background check, and then in-person interview, when they finally get the job, chances are they're going to hold that opportunity in high regard because they freaking earned it, right? They went through all
Mm,
these processes. You know, if it's an easy entry, like, hey, come on in and I'll
yeah,
try you out, it doesn't create that feeling of like accomplishment. And with employees, it's important to gauge that, right? Like, you want them to
yeah,
feel as though, like, hey, you earned this job and you went through this and we chose
yeah,
you out of all the other applicants, and it's important for you to keep it, you know?
yeah. That makes sense.
But there's been people, I can't even tell you how many times I've done phone interviews and got to the in-person interview, and I could just tell it wasn't going to be a fit.
Yeah,
I could just tell. So it's important to take that step.
Oh, that makes sense for
But
sure.
you asked me about a spend on Indeed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For
What's a,
this role, I think you should spend $30 a day on the ad
okay.
until you get enough applicants to maybe do at least 3 in-person interviews,
Yeah.
you
Well, I mean,
know?
even with, so I spent less than that, and we were getting a pretty good amount of applicants in the first couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
$30 a day is I mean, it's going to be 900 for the month, but you should probably gauge where that is. I mean, think about it, $1,000 to find somebody to work alongside you and take off,
Yeah.
some of this pressure that you're feeling, and you can actually focus on the business. Well
Yeah.
worth it. I think for marketing, you should spend no less than 2 grand. two
Yeah.
grand.
It's
I mean,
reasonable.
because, but you got to think about it. 2 grand. Imagine if you get 5 jobs. I mean, that's nothing. And then, I mean, you're looking at 3 to 4 grand to really kick things off in marketing and hiring. And then, I mean, you're on your way, man. And then just some rebranding, of course. I think it'd
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
wise to go in there and change some things around.
Yeah. That makes
So,
sense. Especially
was,
if we go the kitchen route for sure.
yeah, man. Yeah. Was this helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. It's very
Yeah,
helpful.
man. No worries. No worries.
Um,
Did you have any other questions?
yeah, I mean, what is, going forward, what does coaching look like? Like how does that, what type of programs do you have? What do you offer?
I just do free coaching, man.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't, yeah. So if you want to jump on again as you progress, for me, it's
All right, cool.
a great benefit because I share it with the podcast. So I
Yeah.
don't charge for coachings. So if you feel as though
All right, cool.
my information and I give that much value, you want to jump back on, I'd love to, man. It's no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. I mean, cause I would definitely at least love to do one with my wife, because she actually, being a realtor, she has a real estate coach now. And, she was pumped that I was getting on this because she sees it. She knows that we're going in a million different directions too. And it's not a sustainable model. You know what I mean? Like, so definitely got to get focused. And I think her hearing this too will definitely get it. Obviously I
Yeah.
can play this forward, but
I'll send you, if you guys listen to it, I'll send you the
yeah,
link. It'll be on the
yeah,
podcast
for
probably
sure.
today or tomorrow. So, but
All
yeah,
right, cool.
man, I don't charge. I'd love for you guys to try Dripjobs though. I
Yeah.
think you need it. I
Yeah.
think,
We'll definitely have a
at the very
conversation
least,
about
I can
that.
show you guys a demo. And you see if you like it, man. I
Yeah.
think once you get that out of the way, like for example, your wife's real estate business, she probably knows where all of her, customers are, like in their process of
Yeah.
like looking or waiting for funding, right? Doesn't she have something
Right.
like that?
Yeah. Yep.
So in the
She
same
does.
breath, like in our world, we have new leads, warm leads. We have people that have requested appointments. We have people that scheduled appointments. We have people that are waiting for their proposals. We have people that we've sent proposals to. We have people that rejected proposals. That's 7 stages. And then on the project management side, I said there was 4. So Dripjobs actually
Yeah.
has those 7 stages on the front end,
Oh,
and then
wow.
the 4 on the back end. And it helps you move those people all the way through the pipeline. It's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get it out of your head.
All right, cool.
All right, man.
So,
We'll
well, I
jump on soon.
appreciate
I'm
it.
going to send you a message after this with some information. I'll give you that hiring course if you want to take it.
Awesome.
And I think you're on your way, man. Just,
Cool.
really think about this. You really think about
Yeah,
making
well.
the change, man. And I think you'll be well on your way to feeling like a little bit of more control, kind of like you had in the flip house, like when you're
Yeah.
flipping. You were in one environment, right? And always put yourself in
Exactly.
the position of an employee. Like, again, like I told you, if you came to me and said, I'm going to keep flipping houses and I want to find an employee, I'd say, great, don't change anything. They're working in one
Yeah.
house. Find a generalist that can do all these different things. Like, that's fine. But right now, like metaphorically speaking, you're flipping 4 different houses because you're just
Yeah.
all over the place. That's where the ripple is right now, is the fact that you're just so
Sure.
spread thin. So my thing is I know you like working for the homeowners because they pay a lot and you're seeing cash come in, right? That's probably like,
Sure.
that's what you're enjoying. But now we got to narrow it down in this space because it's a different world.
No,
It's
I
a
agree.
different world,
Yes.
so cool, man. Well, we'll touch base. I appreciate your
Yeah,
time.
definitely.
Thanks, Sean, for your time, man. And we'll catch up
I
soon.
appreciate it. Cool.
All right,
Sounds
man.
good. Thanks.
See you
man.
later. Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals that's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo and get your team involved and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time, it's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com, and we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.